Hello and welcome back to The Motivating Force. This wonderful Monday, we have a very special guest, somebody that you guys have heard us talk about before. So welcome to the show, Marcus. This is Taekwonzy, our favorite streamer that we always love to watch. Any game he plays, exciting content, man.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for welcoming me into your dojo.
Yeah,
right.
as your terminology puts it. Yeah. This is our dojo here. This is where the magic happens, and
for sure. Yeah,
I know you got to watch a pre-recording on that, so you got actually a sneak peek of last week's episode ahead of time.
Yes, and I was vibing with it hard. I like the professionalism that you guys have when you're approaching your episodes. I really like that a lot. And I really like your setup. It's very simplistic and also convenient. I think you guys have something really good going for yourselves. Seriously. Honestly. I'm not just saying that because I'm a guest. I'm saying that whether I was live or not, for real.
I appreciate it, man. It's good having another input here on the set since we did kind of do this from the ground up with honestly minimal amount of research into everything. Yeah. So all this equipment was kind of just luck of the draw. Mm-hmm. So kind of picked and chose everything there for it. But I'm excited for today because I know we're going to be breaking out of the norms of our typical self-help conversation. So this is great for our viewers too. You guys get to have a break this week from the grind, from the focus on improving your life. And you guys just get to vibe out with us on some good conversation.
Yeah. I already have a question for you.
All right, let's get into it, man.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
For fatherhood?
Am I ready for fatherhood? So I've been told that you're never ready.
Nope.
But I do feel like I am, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have all my bases covered.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's good.
I have no doubt in my mind about my ability or my wife's ability to take care of the child, and I think that's a good start.
That's all you really need, honestly, because everything else from that point on, it's just learning. Because especially having like a firstborn, like this being your first kid, there's so much that you're just genuinely not going to understand. It's a huge learning process, and it's going to change you as a man too. Like the morals and the standards you thought you had, they're all going to change for better, no doubt. And some people might find you might become a little bit more annoying to certain people.
All right.
But it's because you're a dad now. You have like different priorities and stuff. Even things that you think you would value before parenthood. Like for me, like I gamed every single day. Oh my God. I gamed every single day, no matter what was going on in my life, no matter how like depressed I was, or if I was struggling with anything personally, I always made time to game because that was my thing. That was like what I did to relieve my stress and stuff like that. Having a kid, whatever that is, you have to put it off to the side for a moment because nothing is more important to you than ensuring that kid is going to sleep happy. You know, it changes you. It's just so crazy. It's crazy.
In a way, you're kind of pretty new to fatherhood too. I know you had your two back to back.
It's a fantastic experience. It really is.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't. If you're gonna have two kids, if you're gonna have more than one, have them a couple. You can have them a couple years apart. It's not gonna hurt no one. Me and my wife thought it was a good idea, and I mean we still do think it's a good idea, but it's just so much more of a challenge for us because one now knows how to walk and can almost run, and is now learning how to grab doorknobs.
Okay.
While the other one is learning how to lift its neck. And one is yelling at the top of its lungs at me for no reason. Just looks at me and just goes to town. While the other one, we're trying to, rock the other one to sleep or something. It is a challenge for sure. Like for a great example would be, I have to sleep in my son's room with him sometimes because he likes to sleep in the room with us sometimes because it helps him go to sleep, obviously, whatever. He's used to that. We had the bassinet in our room, obviously, when he was born. But as we transitioned him to the crib, he was fine with that. But then once our daughter was born, he suddenly wants to be around us more. He wants to sleep with us. So the little compromise that we have is because our daughter is crying so much throughout the night, he doesn't get to sleep. So we have to go put him in his room, and I go sleep in the room with him. And it calms him down. But I don't get to sleep with my wife, you know?
Yeah.
But it's a temporary compromise because parenthood.
I mean, life is full of compromises, and with kids, those become a little more obvious. So,
yeah, for sure.
I can imagine it's gonna be exciting. You know, there's not really much that I'm really nervous about with a kid, but I guess that's because he's not out yet. So a lot of the things that I'm more nervous about right now is just making sure my wife is healthy, happy, gonna have a good delivery.
Yeah.
It is our first kid, so we need to see if she has any underlying complications and things like that, So that's a little bit of the more so what goes through my mind than actually worrying about the kid. I think the kid's going to be fine. So
that is the exact mindset I had with my wife's pregnancy. Like, it's not that I didn't care about the kid. I knew that the kid's going to be fine. But I want to make sure my wife is in the best condition she could be in for this process, because it's not as traumatic for the baby as it is for your wife. The baby's just walking out the door, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas the wife, she's kind of opening up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's
all the body changes.
The body changes insanely. It's incredible. And you want to be there for her. And that's what got me nervous the most, because I'm not no doctor, I don't know what to do. But I feel like naturally, if it's a good relationship, you already know you're going to be a good parent. You already know you're going to be a good dad. But even though you might be a good person and all that, you don't know what's going to happen with the pregnancy. It's always a scary thing. So I get that.
And I guess something I want to touch on too is, you're talking about having your video game addiction going on. And how that changed. I know with you focusing on streaming and, having the dojo going up, and it's all about video games. So in a way, it's changing that addiction into an occupation, which is great in its own sense, because then that's something you can do 40 hours a week and not really suffer from the consequences of having the addiction, which is smart. And it's actually something a lot of streamers do. So, or how they originated from. And I know with you getting further away from the video games now, how was it breaking those types of addictions that you have for yourself when it comes to having the kids come around?
It was rough. It was very rough, because you have to remember, since I was a little boy, I was playing games. I was playing Nintendo 64, and I played every game generation, every game console, all the way up to where we're at now. I don't have a PS5 yet, but nobody does. So, I've played every type of game you can think of: shooting games, role-playing games, strategy games, racing games, horror games. I played it all. I just love games, and that just became a part of my lifestyle. But once you become a parent, you have absolutely no choice but to change some things in your lifestyle. Like certain things, you realize they might have been important to you, but you got to put it on the sidelines, even if it's just temporary. It's just how it is. And it was rough, because all those years of me playing comes to a complete halt once your kid starts crying, and you have to handle it. If you want to be a good dad, you have to handle it. And it's just how it is. It's very jarring. If you're a good person, you already know what to do. You have to just swallow the pill and be a dad.
So that it did not make anything easier. Didn't make breaking it easier.
No.
It's just you just have to, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of getting over it.
You would think like, oh, I'm a dad now. I was like, okay, I can stop playing. It's more so like in reality, it's like, wow, I have to miss out on this season of Apex Legends for this.
Right.
But I do it like without even thinking about it, It's just the little kid in me, is yelling at the adult version of me in my head. Like, what are you doing? You're missing out on all this, the new gun. the new gun just came out, the new characters, the new skins. And in reality, I'm talking down to that little kid. I'm like, you don't get it. I'm a daddy.
Right.
You know? That's how it is.
It's kind of being a parent not only to your real kid, but to the kid inside of you as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It is. There's a big change within you. I guess you could say that maybe even like my subconscious or something. I don't know. But yeah, you're definitely talking to that kid inside you. That comfortable side of you that doesn't want to step out the comfort zone. You're talking to that version of yourself. And you're getting into whole arguments right here in your head. And you have to win. Because if you don't, kid's going to keep crying. Mom needs help. Mom can't do much because she just gave birth. You got to be the man of the house, you know?
Yeah. People will suffer if you make the wrong choice. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I actually struggled with video game addiction predominantly when I was younger. And I had to put it underneath control before the kid came out. Because, just for all of our viewers to know, of course, me and Marcus here, we're good buddies, but there's a lot we have to learn about each other. So we're going through that process.
Yeah.
And, when I was, I want to say 12 to 15, I would come home from school and play video games until school the next day.
Oh, my God, yes.
And I would get my 10-minute naps in between classes. Ooh. And being young and resilient, it was enough to push me through. And when summertime came around, I would literally go 2 to 3 days without eating to play games. And of course, being the logical person that I am, the reason why I didn't eat wasn't because I was so hooked on the video game. I mean, it was, but not that sense. It was, I knew that if I ate food, I would have to get up and go to the bathroom.
And that would take away from the game time.
My precious game time.
Oh, my God, no. How dare you?
So I would do... anywhere from 40 to 60 hours of nonstop gaming.
You're insane.
And I would just drink. I would have like a 2-liter bottle of water, soda, whatever at the time, right? That would be all I'd have for about 50 hours at a time.
What was the game at the time?
MMOs. So I would be playing games like World of Warcraft. Never actually played it, but games of that genre. The time sink into those.
There was a game when I was younger. It was a free-to-play MMO, and it was called Silk Road Online.
Yes.
Do you know what that was?
Yes. I played that, and I actually have a private server version of that game that I actually still currently play.
No way.
Yeah.
I was hooked on that game, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely hooked on it. I didn't talk to my parents. I didn't walk my dog. I didn't do nothing. I just played Silk Road.
Yeah.
And I would always make new accounts on World of Warcraft because the game was free up to level 20.
Mm-hmm.
I'd make all different types of character classes, and I would just play. And then once I hit 20 and they asked me to pay, I'd be like, that's enough for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So did you hear of Fly for Fun?
What's that?
One of the MMOs from back in the day, one of the Korean grinders.
No.
It was where you got the brooms and the boards you get to fly around on, and but it was still very traditional. Like it was like a tab targeting one, right? It's a tab target, and you didn't even use skills really when it came to the grinding part of it. Of course, when you talk about the PvP and killing other players or whatnot, you use your skills. But for mobs, it was like 3-4 hits.
Really?
But you'd have to kill tens of thousands of them at a time to get a level, right?
Right.
So like you would kill 10 mobs to get 0.001% experience.
Oh man.
Right. And so that's the game I played.
That sounds grindy.
So yeah, and it was very simple zombie-like grind because you're not using skills or anything. You're just literally tabbing over to the next target. And so I would do that 50 hours at a time just to be able to get 10% in 50 hours.
Right. That's crazy. I'm trying to think what else was it that I played. I played a lot of Left 4 Dead. The original Halo, like the first Halo. I loved it. I didn't even understand like competitive multiplayer, so I would just play the story. And I would play it over and over and over and over and over. What else? What were big games for us growing up?
I mean, Call of Duty for sure.
Oh, dude,
so
what the hell's wrong with me?
When it starts getting into multiplayer, Call of Duty. I mean, World of Warcraft. Aeon was a big one.
I never played
Aeon.
Aeon.
Dropped. I played a lot of it.
Yeah.
My brother played it more. Great fun, man.
Yeah.
Great fun.
Yeah.
I had to get that. I had to get that addiction under control a lot sooner than having kids because it almost hospitalized me a couple times.
It's funny
So
you say like it's funny you say that because I always made sure that I gamed enough, but it was around that age for me too that I was kind of like uncontrollable. Not to like what you were doing because that's insanity.
Yeah.
But I think that's like a small motivating reason behind why my parents put me in martial arts.
to get you doing something else.
To get me out of the house, to get me to go do other things. And at first, I didn't want to do it at all. I hated martial arts. I was like, why are you guys doing this to me? I didn't understand why, but as they were very persistent with keeping me in it. And I just said, oh, whatever. I guess I'll just keep doing it. And then as the years went by, I realized like I was actually enjoying this as much as I enjoy video games. And then it became a big part of my life, and it taught me discipline and self-confidence.
I mean, you're a black belt, right?
Yeah, I'm a 3rd degree black belt, boy.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So you did go all in with it.
I went all in. I need one more degree to become a 4th degree master.
Okay.
I can still do that. I just have to reach out to my teacher. But yeah, that taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about self-love and self-confidence and discipline. You know, like no matter what I did, before it was like no matter what I did, I played a game. I made sure I was like disciplined for that, and it wasn't really giving me anything at the time. But with martial arts, like I was getting in shape, I was learning, I was like stimulating my brain, you know, learning new moves and forms. So it kind of like changed me as a person, and as I became a man, it allowed me to just bring all that stuff with me to fatherhood, you know.
So speaking of martial arts here, I do have a question, and I do have something I want to say first about the whole idea here of you jumping into it. So unfortunately, when it does come to personal development, it is something that I do enjoy so much and think about all the time that I'm kind of like Flo from Progressive when it comes to the commercials. Okay? I can't help myself.
Right.
So I did want to bring up one little point with you here, and luckily I didn't promise our viewers that I wouldn't talk about self-help. So something that you learn in 12-step programs, okay? I've never been in one, just to clarify. When you get addicted to things and you're beating addictions, you have to learn that getting addictions is a character trait. Okay? So it's not necessarily good or bad. It just means that you have the ability to get super dedicated to things all the time.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of makes sense where you could go from your higher level of dedication to video games and then be forced into something like martial arts that you then fall in love with, and be able to switch your dedication or your addiction over to something with a more positive light.
Right.
So I don't know if that's something you knew or not, but
I didn't.
You know, addictions are more of a quality trait where you can be more susceptible to falling into addiction.
They're always portrayed as problems.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot more sense, because at the end of the day, I mean, if you're saying it's a quality, it's a trait. So it's important to just surround yourself with the right addiction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And that's why I wanted to bring that up, because that's how I had to use to get underneath control with mine, which obviously my addiction to video games seems to have taken a further turn than yours. So,
yeah,
you know, that was one of the principles I had to come to understand. And then with falling in love with self-help, that's what got me into the more addictive mindset towards that.
Yeah.
And following that path for my life. But speaking of following paths for your life, that does lead me to my question with martial arts. What's the goal with your kids when it comes to martial arts?
They have no choice.
No choice.
When they turn 18, they can stop doing it. But by then, it's too late.
Right.
They've already loved it, and they've already mastered it.
So does it have to be Taekwondo for them, or could they kind of pick anything?
I mean, it's whatever we end up getting themselves into. I mean, it most likely will be Taekwondo, because I know people in Taekwondo. But, I mean, I've done a decent amount of Aikido and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I've seen Kung Fu. There's like only 2 Kung Fu schools here, you know, in this entire state.
Okay.
But if it's a good school, if it's not like a cash grab gimmick after school program, they have discipline, and that's the main thing about martial arts. You want to teach yourself something unique that will give you an advantage as an individual, that will make you feel good about yourself in whatever environment you're in. In today's generation, I see it all too often with, kids that I surround myself with. They get so consumed by social media and technology and having the coolest thing, having everyone's approval. When I was in martial arts, to this day, I don't really care. Ever since martial arts, I never really cared too much about people's approval, and it kind of kept me away from the dark side of social media. Now that I'm a grown man, I'm fully aware of it. It's one thing to see that stuff as a grown man, and then to see that as like a 12-year-old. Yeah. You shouldn't see weird stuff.
Right.
So I feel like martial arts would be a good attempt at the very least, because at the end of the day, certain things might be unavoidable as technology advances, but it's a good attempt to give someone a healthy mindset that they can grow with.
With the internet, what we have now, where everything's at your fingertips, it's kind of like it almost is unpreventable that your kids are going to be exposed to things earlier than they should be, and there's literally nothing you can do about it except going to the extreme of helicopter parenting, and then you're going to mess up your kid in other ways.
Yep. And that's a whole nother set of conflicts, because then you might be too much of a parent to them, and they don't even get to live their life.
Yeah. So we all know what happens to sheltered kids when they turn 18. So as soon as they move out, it's a nightmare.
Big problems. So it's weird. You have to it's like a seesaw. You have to teeter the balance right there. Just kind of roll with the punches, because certain things are unavoidable. It's how it is, unfortunately. But I think we can at least, as parents, do a little more. And I think martial arts is a good direction for them. It can definitely keep them out of majority of bad things.
So it's more of the preparation compared to the prevention of it, right? Yeah. So it's kind of preparing them mentally to be strong and to understand, what's going to go on in their lives, and to be able to be concrete in who they are, compared to just trying to pretend that things in the world don't exist.
Oh my God. Say that one more time. Yeah, it's so true. There are a lot of kids that I'm not trying to roast anybody, but I just know people in my family, I guess you could say, who they're kids, they're kids, and they're surrounded by all this social media, and they're surrounded by all this technology and the cool video games and stuff like that, and they, in their perspective, they think they have life figured out. When I'm a 26-year-old man, father of 2, I have no idea what I'm doing some days. It's just how it is. It's life, and they think that they have it figured out. You have to remind them to make sure they wash their butt, and it's like, dude, come on, you don't have it figured out. So why are you acting like you haven't figured it out? And it's because of social media and stuff like that. They think that they have it all the followers and stuff, and I don't know.
That's kind of the dangerous part about being a know-it-all, or thinking you have your life figured out and you have this concrete plan. I knew somebody when being a little bit younger, right? I think we were about 23 at the time, and he had his life all figured out, right? No kids were involved, nothing like that, thank God, right? Yeah. But he's like, oh, I'm married, I started a business, we're making money, we're going to do all these things, we have this nice huge home, we are set. My life for the next 30 years, it's planned, it's figured out, I'm good to go, and I know what I'm doing with it. And we had a conversation one night out on his porch about it, and it's like, cool, well, how did you get there? How'd you get all these things done? Because me being 23 years old, I was in a little bit of a different environment. Luckily, I was still around my wife at the time. We were already dating and whatnot, but no home, no anything like that. I was still living with my parents, and it's like, man, you're really taking these big leaps here, these big jumps. And I just listened to him talk, and he's just like, but there's so much to life that you're not realizing. And that's why I'm kind of taking a little bit slower. And he's like, oh, well, I'll roll with the punches when they come. But that's the difference, is when you know it all, you don't have that resiliency to do that.
Correct.
And in less than a year, he got the divorce. Ooh. He lost the home. He lost the business.
No.
and had to go start all over again.
Jeez, that is rough.
It's a real scary side to it.
Yep.
It's never assume you know everything.
Never.
You
Never.
don't.
You need to always be a student first in life, and always surround yourself with people who can teach you more stuff. You know, that's such a scary thought. Jeez.
And I know we have a lot to learn too from our kids. My kids soon to be, and your kids growing up now. They're gonna teach us a whole lot.
They are. They really are. For me, they teach me stuff every day. They really do. I think the main thing that my kids teach me, everyone's different, but I think the main thing my kids teach me is patience.
Okay.
Because they're the most innocent things on the planet. They don't know anything. They don't know good. They don't know bad. They just know they're hungry, you know?
Right.
So you have to realize that first and foremost. And from there, you learn, you know.
I appreciate you coming down here today. I know we're reaching our time limit here, and hopefully in the future we have more things planned with you for sure. And with us being on Anchor, we are trying to do more of a sustainable approach with that, and Anchor does allow for longer recording sessions, so hopefully we can get you on there for a nice long episode, man.
Nice 3-hour episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do definitely appreciate you here today, talking about parenthood and all this. I appreciate you getting me started, getting me to understand it. It's one thing to learn from your parents and from older people, but hearing it from somebody the same age, it's a little more reassuring, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because we got like the same perspective up to a point, you know, when it comes to life. We understand we grew up around the same things. We kind of understand certain things the same way. So, yeah, man, I got you.
It's perfect. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
And again, thank you. This is Marcus, Taekwonzy. All his links are down below. He is an entertainer, first and foremost. So definitely check out his platforms. Again, we have all those links down below. You won't regret it. And while you're out there checking out content, we do have a Facebook and Instagram of our own for The Motivating Force. Be sure to check that out, give it a follow, see what we're up to. And if you always want more content, every Monday and Wednesday at 8 a.m., we do drop new episodes. That is across all of your favorite podcasting platforms, as well as YouTube if you'd like to see it on video.
And until next time, go get it.